Super Mario Odyssey is a game, but I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, does this game actually suck? This is Super Mario Odyssey 5 years later. Almost. I play a lot of platformers. It's one of my favorite genres. There are so many things in Odyssey that I consider platforming perfection. For example, the movement. Oh my god. Running and rolling up and down hills is one of the most fun things you can do in Odyssey. When you develop a game and have something as simple as moving feel so satisfying, that's when you know. You ain't playing Resident Evil 4. This game's movement is ass.
Look at it! It's ugly, isn't it?
I was wondering if you might recognize a girl in this photograph. Sorry to have bothered you.
Fight me, bro. There's a lot of things that I factor in when I play a platformer, such as the weight of the character, how fast the character moves. Does the character come to a complete stop? Is there momentum? Can you carry your momentum? The gravity of the world. And everything I just mentioned is perfect in Odyssey, especially with the help of Cappy, Mario's companion. Companions in Mario games have always offered new moves that Mario can do. Sunshine had Flood, Galaxy had Luma, and so on. Mario 64 didn't introduce another entity as a companion, but Mario did have something new regardless. I'm talking about his moves. Super Mario 64 was Mario's first time in a 3D space. With that, the game introduced a bunch of new moves that you can pull off. We all know Mario's most famous move being a jump, but alongside that, we can now triple jump, dive, punch, kick, backflip, ground pound, long jump, backwards long jump. It was awesome. It seems like everyone takes it for granted now, but I feel like a lot of people forget the humble beginnings of Mario's moveset. And I think that's the reason why future Mario games needed an actual companion, because Nintendo likes to change things up with every game. How do we take a plumber who can stomp on enemies and break bricks and evolve the character into something new? Maybe he can throw his hat. And that's the main gimmick of Odyssey, which is a very fun thing to do. You can utilize Cappy in many different ways, not just to take over enemies, but your movement as well, using him as a platform to perform even more insane stunts and even some puzzle solving. Even though Cappy offers a ton of new movement, some of my favorite parts of the game is the segments where Cappy gets removed and you have to play the game without Cappy. Throughout the game, you press Y so many times to capture and use Cappy for different things that it just becomes a completely different game once you don't have Cappy. You just have a regular Mario moveset, and I think that just proves how crazy you get used to the movement in this game. And we can't forget his other uses as well. Being able to take the soul of another being and using their body. Gone are the days of fire flowers and other power-ups. As much as I do miss them in Odyssey, capturing enemies and objects are already power-ups in a way. But after doing multiple playthroughs of Odyssey, I started to realize that capturing enemies is only fun for the first few times you do it. There's enemies that do nothing when you capture them. Like, what is the point of this? I mean, there's random objects that are more fun than this. You can be a zipper, and this zipper is more fun than this plant. Like, seriously? You can't even move. Why?
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
But these are just a few of the enemies that aren't as fun. Most of them are awesome and really creative. I don't know why, maybe it's just me, but I lose that excitement from when I first played this game. That, or maybe the fact that a lot of the things that you can capture have their limitations. Even now and then there's times where the game wants you to capture an object or an enemy to solve a puzzle, but sometimes you can just do it without having to capture anything. And this isn't a bad thing, this is awesome. Every time I play this game again, I always try to think of ways to obtain a moon a different way than how you're supposed to do it. Like, I still don't remember the actual way of getting up here. I just climb up to the arch and that's it, I got the moon. And that brings me to my next topic, which are the moons. Moons, you gotta get them, dude. There are a ton of moons in this game, but I like the progression system that comes with collecting moons in terms of story. You're dropped into the world and the game is just like, go this way and go ahead and grab any move that's on the way, and once you've gotten enough, go ahead and come back and we're on our way to the next world. But I do have a problem with the post-game moons that you can get and just extra moons that don't really feel satisfying to grab. I don't like that you can theoretically get 999 moons in this game. I always prefer quality over quantity, and Odyssey has a lot of quantity. At first you hear about the moons and you think it's a great selling point, like wow, there's more than 800 unique moons in the game. it must be a massive journey. Like, not exactly. Do you know how many moons are just there? You can be walking and see a shiny spot on the ground and yup, that's a moon. Well, you lose this feeling of accomplishment once you get this many type of moons. And that's why I think I prefer the stars in older Mario games. In Super Mario 64, every star was an adventure. You enter a level, the level then gives you a clue, and you have to find out what the hell you're supposed to do. Sunshine, same thing. You enter a level and adventure through until you get a shine. It's quite similar in Odyssey, like I said, but my main issue is just the moons that are just there and don't really feel as rewarding. Like every world has a moon where you just kick a rock until it pops out. Every world you can just buy a moon. Like, why? And don't even get me started on the achievement moons. Why is this a thing? Like, this game has so many moons for the sake of having moons. As much as I enjoy the actual moons that give you the feeling of progression, I think I'm always going to prefer the way the older titles did it the most. Every star felt more unique even though there was less of them. However, that could just be me. Another thing I don't like as much in Odyssey are the worlds. Now let me explain. The actual environments of the worlds are awesome. Snow, sand, forest, city. But why does it feel like there's so little of them? Besides the obvious heavy hitters, there's nothing else really here. Like, I love the Sand Kingdom and the Wooded Kingdom, but other kingdoms like the Lake Kingdom, why does this world feel so small compared to the other ones? And even some of the best looking kingdoms are ruined by how small they are. The Cap Kingdom, this mysterious world filled with fog and dread from Bowser's attack, could have been so much more instead of just being a linear L shape. Not to mention the Ruined Kingdom. What an absolute flop. I remember the feeling I got when I first got here, thinking this was going to be an insane setting, and it was just used for a boss fight. It's such a highly missed opportunity, and I will never understand why they didn't expand on it. Same thing with the Cloud Kingdom, a world of just clouds. I mean, that's so cool. And what did Miyamoto do? Nothing. Having the worlds on the world selection screen is just a disgrace. And even the Metro Kingdom. Why does it feel so small? Like, why does it look bigger in the trailer? Like, they shouldn't have even let us get up on this skyscraper, because this way you can really see how small this area is.
When do I know I'm Spider-Man?
That's all it is, Miles. A leap of faith.
Like, what's up, danger?
I think after playing Breath of the Wild, which has an insane world to explore, I was expecting every world in Odyssey to be some massive set piece. I mean, the game is called Odyssey, but at least we do have variety. Somewhat. Like, how many times are we going to have a sand world and a snow world? Fossil Falls, New Donk City, and Mount Valbono were all awesome because we hadn't seen things like this in a previous Mario game. A prehistoric world or a city, all this stuff is new. But then they also do things like have 2 water levels. Like, why do we have 2 water-based worlds? I want more things that we haven't seen before. Like, people always bring this up as an example from New Super Mario Bros. Wii. There's a level in this game that just looks like a painting, and it's one of the most beautiful levels in the whole series. This style was only used like once. Like, why? It's so cool. I'm tired of the same traditional Mario game where we start off in a grassy plain and then move on to desert and so on. That's the reason why I love the beginning of Odyssey. You didn't start in the traditional green grassy area, you started in a scary looking ass place. But in the end, we did get the traditional sand, snow, and water areas, but whatever. As much as I love this game, it does have its flaws. I was hoping we'd get a sequel or at least some DLC by now, but we never did. Unless you wanted to count Luigi's Balloon World. It's a game mode where you can hide and find other people's balloons, but even this got really repetitive after a couple of days. People kept hiding moons in the same spots and out of bounds, glitchy areas that you couldn't reach, and it was never fixed. There's only so much you can do with this, and why did they lock Luigi up like this? They could have done the same thing they did with Super Mario Galaxy, where if you play the whole game, you can play the whole game again as Luigi. You could have gave him exclusive moons and different physics. It would have been awesome. It's another missed opportunity, but this is Nintendo, so it is normal for them to do dumb things. Why are some moves locked behind motion controls? Like, I get it, Nintendo Switch, motion controls, family, kids, friends, Just Dance. But come on, if I'm playing with the Pro Controller, you expect me to shake this every single time I want to just do a roll? But even with these flaws, Odyssey still has so much charm. From its story and characters, it really is a living, breathing universe. The story may be the typical Bowser kidnaps Peach, but this time it's a little different. Bowser not only kidnaps Peach, but he does so in hopes of marrying her, which is a really cool idea. There's posters and other small details about their wedding throughout your adventure, and Bowser even has a real reason to go to these worlds too. With the help of his new minions, the Brutals, which honestly I don't care too much about, he goes to the Sand Kingdom for a ring for Peach, and he invades the Woody Kingdom for its flowers, and everything comes together quite nicely in the end. And there's even these cool segments in these worlds that you will come across even on accident. For example, if you fall off the Woody Kingdom, you will end up in the Deep Woods, which is a mysterious area underneath the world. You explore this dark environment and all of a sudden a freaking dinosaur comes out of nowhere, and this type of stuff is just so cool. There's even the small details, such as the fact that Mario can get cold or hot, smacking yourself into a cactus gives him needles on his nose, he can get covered in sand, he can get covered in snow, he can get wet. His cheeks puff up when he's underwater, his head looks towards interactable objects, the music will dynamically change depending on what you're doing. If you're underwater, the music gets muffled. If you're in a classic section, the music will be a chip tune. It's this attention to detail that I really love in games. And I haven't even talked about the outfits that you can get.
We gotta go, Arthur, come on! Okay, let's dismount here.
Realize what this is? $3.4 million, 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds. There's 7 of these things in the world, and this guy keeps it locked up in a vault.
Wake up! Yes, chef!
I'm not gonna break. I'm not here to break. He's not gonna break me as a person.
Here we go. We started. Come here. What is that?
It's all right.
What is that?
Upstairs! Get out!
Yes, chef.
Get out!
Yes, chef.
With that, I think we better have a finished painting. It's that easy. Let's take a little bright red, and we'll sign this little rascal.
I am the Dragon Warrior.
You'll never make it out of the bay. Son, I'm Captain Jack Sparrow.
He's just standing there, menacingly!
Aha.
Give me one reason why I shouldn't have my boy here pull your head off.
How about a magic trick?
Where is he? Someone knows where he is.
You can be naked. The fact that there is a shop in a Mario game is just so cool. Like, I've been wanting a shop system for so long in a mainline Mario game. Having a shop means that a currency such as coins actually matter instead of just getting 1-ups. And speaking of the 1-ups, they're not even in this game, which is fine. I think Nintendo realized you don't really need them for a game like this. So basically what I'm saying is, if it wasn't for the great visuals, the orchestrated bangers,
Beat that pussy up! Beat that pussy up!
a clean movement system, this game is ass. But this game is also fantastic. If we don't get a sequel for this game, I really hope that whatever mainline Mario game Nintendo is working on next is going to be better than Odyssey. Sunshine was actually terrible though, like goddamn.